The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Mr Speaker, not only is this government in disarray, many of its ministers have lost their way. We had Bill English lead off the debate for the government. 1 minute he's saying Shares Plus is not a goer. Today he's saying, well, it could be an option. Mr Speaker, the real question for New Zealanders is, do New Zealanders want assets sold? No, they don't. Jerry Brownlee was the next speaker. He proposes that it's important to consult with Cantabrians around the reorganisation and renewal of Christchurch. But what does he do? Drag the chain on residential zoning, close Christchurch schools. But what's the question for New Zealanders or Cantabrians? Do they want schools closed in Christchurch? No, they don't. Then we had Jo Goodhue. She is the Minister of Women's Affairs, for those of you who don't know, who voted against paid parental leave. But the real question for women throughout New Zealand is, do they want a government that will not support the extension of paid parental leave? No, they don't. This government is steering a train wreck to disaster and leading the country in a direction that will not benefit the great majority of New Zealanders. But I specifically want to focus on two other ministers, because they are guiding the most important portfolio that will support the future generation of our country, and that's Ministers Parata and Foss. And we need to be thinking about the way in which their actions are critically affecting a number of children and the direction of education and impacting on teachers throughout the country, because their performance has been an absolute shamble. Bungle after bungle after bungle. The education portfolio is in a mess. First we had larger class sizes being proposed in favour of teacher quality. Now that's off the table, both larger class sizes and now teacher quality. We had also the idea of putting ropey national standards on a database. Even though the Minister acknowledged it and the Prime Minister supported that this data was ropey, they said, well, it's okay. Let's put it on the database. It should work itself out. And then league tables. League tables with a very inaccurate and skewed picture of what was happening, the good work that was happening within our schools. A consultation document down in Christchurch saying to that community, we want to engage with you. We're concerned about the renewal and opportunities for people in Christchurch. Give us your feedback. We'll take on board what you say. What do? Steamway their way through reforms, sweeping reforms that will see closures of schools and mergers that are not supported by the community. In fact, the community are throwing their hands up in despair saying, what's the data that led you to think that these sweeping reforms will be good for our kids and good for our community? That's not proper consultation, and it's shameful. I want to come back to something that Jo Goodhue raised, actually. She said on the minds of many New Zealanders, what they're really worried about is their take-home pay. Well, I'd have to agree with that. So the question to that government is, what are they doing with regards to teachers' take-home pay? That's right. What are they doing to fix Nova Pay, the teachers' pay system? First word today in the House from Minister Foss, who is overseeing that particular process. It's not doing well at all. 4 years it's taken from the time that the business case was lodged before the Minister, approved, 25 million paid to develop a database that is not working. Minister, you should fix it. It's absolute rubbish to say in this House that it's fixed, because even today, after the fourth cycle of the No Pay round, members in this House, I suspect some of your own members, are raising concerns about the fact that Nova Pay is a mess, it's not being fixed. Let's look at some of the issues. Waiting times for pay staff to report the types of deficiencies in the system. Over an hour. Unbelievable. Over 1 hour to wait for someone to get on the other end of the phone to then say, we can't help you. Go onto the website and report. What else have we heard? We've heard that the data input system is inadequate to be able to properly account for the work that teachers are doing to be able to be paid the correct amount. Teachers deserve to be paid the correct amount for the time that they have spent within schools. Yes, this is the fourth pay cycle, and reliever teachers in particular are feeling the brunt of a pay system that is not working. It is simply not good enough for them now, after the fourth pay cycle, to be saying we haven't been paid arrears for 3 pay cycles ago, which is when the system switchover is happening. The real issue here, Mr. Speaker, is that this government is in a mess.
The honourable member Louise Upston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.